the hardships the Lusitanians faced, their leader, Viriathus, and their inevitable end. Hello everyone, I'm Argila, welcome to this video about prehistory. The Lusitanians are a group of different peoples, let's call them tribes to make it simpler, in nowadays Portugal and Spain. They were autochthonous indigenous peoples to Iberia. These peoples were poorer compared to their neighbors, as we have seen in a previous video, and it was very difficult for them to survive because they didn't produce many things, they didn't produce many food even to sustain themselves. When the Roman Empire came to the Iberian Peninsula, they started colonizing, conquering, killing people, occupying land, creating refugees, all sorts of things. All of the autochthonous peoples in Iberia would end up disappearing. The same thing happened to the Lusitanians. But the Lusitanians, they were used to hardship. They were guerreiros, in Portuguese warriors, or in Spanish, guerreros. And they just put such fearsome fights against the Romans. They weren't the only ones, mind you, but they truly did. They also suffered a lot at the hands of the Romans. They were forced to live in the mountainous regions where it was even more difficult to practice agriculture, to gather food. As you can see from the picture behind me, they lived in simple houses called castros. They suffered a massacre at the hands of the Romans, and because of this massacre, we have a new leader of the Lusitanians that rises from being a shepherd to commanding a new rebellion, a new war. And he not only united Lusitanians, he also united different peoples from Iberia, one of them being the Vetones, which were a group of different tribes as well, with different characteristics, with a different language. Viriathus was a leader. Not only did he manage to unite other peoples and other tribes, he also incited rebellion in other parts of Iberia. He was trying to liberate these peoples from the Romans. He was so effective, in fact, that the Romans were so embarrassed that they had to sign a peace treaty with Viriathus and declare him a friend of Rome, something that hadn't happened before to someone that had just been at war with them and that wasn't colonized and had their lands occupied by the Romans. Usually this title would be for people that were under Rome as tribal leaders, but not Viriathus. So these people had very little to sustain themselves with. They were forced to do robbery and to try and survive any way they could. And their leader, Viriathus, unfortunately was assassinated because the Romans broke the peace treaty. And because of this, the Viriathus and the Lusitanians attempted to negotiate again with the Romans because, you know, they had just stopped a war, they had just survived a war. They were the underdog. The other ones were a fearsome, fanatical empire. And they were just trying to negotiate with the Romans again. Why are you not respecting the peace treaty that we have just signed? So Viriathus sends 3 ambassadors. They were not Lusitanians, by the way. They were from different groups of people from the south of Iberia. They were Turdetani. He sends them. The Roman general sends them back and bribes them to kill Viriathus in his sleep. Viriathus dies, and with this, the resistance of the Lusitanians isn't as strong as it was before. They start to lose more and more and more against the empire. Eventually, much like every other autochthonous peoples in Iberia, they end up being completely colonized, their culture erased, and disappear. Let me know if you would like to know about the massacre against the Lusitanians. Let me know if you'd like to know more about the Lusitanians. Now, I would like to thank you all for all the nice comments, because they truly make my day. Every time I come back to TikTok, I see lots of lovely supporting comments, and that is truly what keeps me going. So thank you so much. You are protagonists in my story, to me, always. A lot of difficult things have been happening. I'm not ready to share them yet. I might be able to share them with you later, but it's the reason why I just haven't been able to make as many videos and make as many prehistoric videos. These, of course, personal life issues that have been happening, but don't be concerned. I am okay. I am still here. Again, thank you so much. You are all truly wonderful. Have a nice TikTok break, and as always,